reports that you're dealing with some arthritis in your shoulders. Obviously, it didn't affect you playing in Alabama, but is that a concern for you 3-5 years down the road?
Not at all. Not at all. My shoulder feels good. Every doctor said if there is a problem, it's after football, way after football. I have no concerns with it at all.
Have you talked to Ruben at all about what happened last night?
I just found out today, so I don't even. Yeah, I'm just finding out today about what happened, so I don't know. No, I haven't.
Surprising at all to hear what happened?
Yeah, very surprising, disappointing, but yeah, it happens.
Johnathan Ashburn, were you a big Redskins fan?
I did root for the Redskins growing up. That was my team I liked.
Have you met with them at all?
Yes, I've met with almost every team since I've been down here.
Jonathan, what are you telling teams you're going to bring to their organization if they draft?
What I'm telling teams is a winning atmosphere, a winning attitude, a leader, a guy who's going to bust his butt every play, and a guy who's looking to come in and make an immediate impact in a positive way.
Is there a common theme in questions that team personnel are asking you specifically?
I wouldn't say there's a common thing. Each team is trying to figure out their own, I guess, type of questions to ask me specifically. So there hasn't been a common thing that most teams are kind of sticking to.
Before you made that Superman sack, it looked like it was a film study play, like you noticed it was going to be a pass. Is that part of your game, maybe something that gets overlooked, the fact that you are able to recognize those kind of things?
It was definitely something that we've seen in the film room that whenever the tackles were set a certain way, it was 90-80% pass. So something that I picked up and I recognized, but a lot of players do it. Almost every good player does it. So that's no secret right there.
And you were indicating to your teammates it was going to be okay. You guys have a little...
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Jonathan, why would a guy at your position, who plays your position, possibly be worth maybe like the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft? What would you bring to a team that would maybe make that worth it?
Versatility. I can play effectively at a 6-tech, 9-tech, 2-wide, 3. I've been working on my drops. I can drop in the flat if needed. I can do a lot of things and play them all equally well for a team.
What will you have to do? What will be the key for you making a quick transition to the NFL so that you can maybe not only play right away but make a big impact right away?
For me, just coming in, learning the scheme, learning the playbook. More than likely, I might not go to a team with a different scheme that I've learned in the last 4 years. So just adjusting to that. But for the most part, just being in stride with the rest of the guys at the new organization and just learning the playbook and getting acclimated to it.
What advantage do you think having 4 years under your belt gives you?
I feel like I'm mentally prepared for whatever happens. At Alabama, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do for 4 years. So I feel like Coach Saban has prepared me well for this opportunity, and I'm planning to take advantage of it.
And I'm sorry, I missed the first answer about the shoulders. What exactly did the doctors tell you about the arthritis?
They just said I have some arthritis in my left shoulder. It's not really a problem now, but it might be a problem 15, 20 years down the road. So I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just worried about playing good for whichever team I go to.
Is there anything you should or shouldn't do because of this? Are they telling you try to avoid certain lifts or anything like that?
No, I have no restriction on anything I do. So like I said, I feel good. This is probably the best I've felt in the last 4 years. So I feel good, refreshed, recharged, and ready to go.
Johnathan, over your 4 years at Alabama, how did you improve your consistency?
Just repetition. That's something that you got to do just by doing it. Like Coach Saban would always say, you have to do it until you get it right, but until you can't get it wrong. So that's just something that I live by. Just practice makes perfect. Just doing it a whole bunch of times to become second nature to you.
Versatility, but what aspect of your game you take the most pride in?
I'll probably say my technique. I like to think I'm a technician, but I can do a lot of things. If you want me to rush from a 3 technique, I can do it effectively. If you want me to bend the corner on the outside, I can do it. I can play the run. I can play double teams. I can play above the tight end, play the 6 technique, scoot and cut off blocks. So, I mean, I feel like I can do anything that I'm asked to do on the defensive line.
So what is it about you and your approach to the game that you feel you can bring that winning culture to a team that doesn't have that?
I always believe that for a team to be good, they have to have a winning atmosphere and a winning attitude in the locker room. So that's going to be the first thing I try to instill wherever I go, just through my work ethic, my preparation, my dedication to being excellent. So that's kind of things I'm going to try to focus on, just going in there, trying to, go under a vet where the guys have been there, soak up as much as I can, and do anything to help the team out.
John, what all went into your decision to come back for an extra year, and how motivated were you to sort of elevate your draft stock?
A lot of things, but probably the big thing that made me want to come back was the fact that I was being listed as a third down player. Not too many people consider me as an every down player, and that kind of bothered me. Put a kind of a chip on my shoulder, so I wanted to come back and prove that I can do both and do them effectively.
Tim Williams came back for pretty much the same reason. Did you have discussions with him about that same motivation?
Not really. At the end of the day, it's every man's decision, for what's best for them and their family. Obviously, I told him I'd love to have you back, but you need to do what's best for you, and he told the same thing for me. So at the end, we all decided that would be best, and we came back and, took another shot at it.
What is it about you that makes you so versatile and can play different spots on the line when maybe other guys aren't like that?
You said what makes me so versatile?
Why can you do that? Why can you move around?
Just technique. Each position has a different technique. You're not going to play the 6 technique as the same as a 3 technique. And with my body type, it allows me to play up and down the line of scrimmage, and that's something I take great pride in.
Johnathan, I know you're proud of your versatility, but what do you think you do best if you had to be?
Rush the passer. Of course, I love to rush the passer, and I love to get after it.
From what gap?
Either or, I'm a football player. If it's a 4-3, 3-4, 3-tech, 6-tech, I'm gonna go get him.
It's about Tim Williams. There are questions about character and stuff about him, but why should teams look at him as a top first-round pick?
I feel like a lot of mistakes Tim made in the past just come from being young. Over the last year, 2 years, he's grown up so much. You can just tell by the way he plays the game, plays with way more discipline, with a lot more gap integrity. And I feel like you can see the maturity start to develop in his game on the field.
What is Alabama's defense? How does that help prepare you for whatever NFL defense you're in?
Just the mentality that you bring to practice. Probably the biggest thing that I took away from my 4 years is the best games I've ever had have also been my best weeks of practice. So that's a lot of things just from talking to teams across the nation. Just practice is where you develop the skills that allow you to have success in the games. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I've taken away from Alabama over the last 4 years.
Is there anything about their scheme that also helps the transition?
Oh, definitely. Playing in the 3-4, it teaches you to be more disciplined as a defensive line, which is always a positive when going on to the next level. Playing with good gap integrity, hand-eye coordination, flat back, low hat. So, there's a lot of things that go into it to make a 3-4 defense successful.
Have you had to grow up during your time in Alabama, or have you been a guy who's maybe kind of always handled your business?
I feel like everybody has to grow up. My freshman year was definitely tough, just going in, being at the bottom of the pile. It's hard. It's hard for anybody, no matter what they say. It's always hard. So you got to go in there and just shut up and work. That's what we like to say, and that's kind of what I did.
John, from an opponent standpoint, what left an impression on you about Deshaun Watson?
Just his composure. We hit the guy. Can't even count how many times. Try to put him out. We were trying to crush him. And every time he just came back tougher. So just his competitiveness. Best player I've ever played in college by far.
What elevates him above everybody else you played?
Just the mental aspect. A lot of guys we play from the quarterback position. By the end of the game, they're not really going through the progressions like they did in the first half because they're worried about the rush. Deshaun Watson played exactly the same in the first quarter as he did in the fourth quarter.
When you're a defensive lineman in college who's playing a lot of snaps, do you have to try to find times to maybe give yourself a break? Maybe you don't go 100% every single play, or you got to go hard all the time?
Not at all. If you do that, you won't be playing at Alabama. I promise you that. So I was blessed to be a part of a team that got a 3-and-out 40-something% of the time. So that definitely helped out. But that's what we tell guys. We need help. We need all the bodies we can at D-line. My sophomore and junior year, we had 8-9 guys rotating with each other. So that definitely helped out, but there's no such thing as taking a play off.
If you can pinpoint, one or two things that you need to improve on to be the guy you want to be in the NFL, what would they be?
I feel like I need to take my film study to another level. I do pride myself in doing a lot of film study, but from everybody I've talked to, all the vets that I've talked to, there's just another aspect, another level that you need to take your film study. So that's definitely something I'm going to be looking into improving from this point until I stop playing football. And just consistency. You can never be consistent, so that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to focus on myself to make myself a better player.